Hi everybody, my name is BjornBehrendt, and this video I'm going to be talking about the flipped classroom and specifically applying the flipped classroom to like a distance learning environment. So first of all, I want to talk about what the traditional flipped classroom is. It's normally a blended learning approach to teaching. So by that, I mean there is a component of it where there's face-to-face with with the teacher and that there's technology involved. The way it's worked in the past is students would watch short videos, either created or curated by the teacher on their own time. And then when they come in and they have face to face with the teacher, they would work with the teacher to apply that knowledge to a project or worksheet or something. Now, this approach definitely promotes equal learning opportunities by allowing students to really go at their own pace and allows teachers to really individualize the learning to the students. Now let's look at the principles of flipped learning. And this is where we have to start to see how this can apply to a distance learning environment. So I have Bloom's taxonomy, and it's a really great approach here. And what I'm going to show you at the bottom here, where you talk about remembering and understanding, those parts get digitized in a flipped learning environment. And the top section here, the create, evaluate, analyze, and apply, gets personalized. And that's kind of the principles behind it is that by digitizing the bottom section of this, you can personalize the top section, the part where this you see the students actually using and applying and learning the tools. Now, flipping it from a distance to take that and look and see how this will apply to a distance. Well, the remembering and understand, that's easy. There's many tools out there that allow you to create content that can be watched or for the students on home that they can learn from. The challenge comes when you're trying to create, evaluate, analyze, and apply from a distance. And how do you do that? It's a big question. Well, the way that I see that it can be done is by feedback. So let's look at this again. The bottom section, understanding, remember, digitizing. Pretty simple and straightforward. Now, personalizing the apply, create, apply, analyze. Now, the way that a teacher will do that in the classroom is by providing feedback. And so when we're looking at applying the flipped classroom at a distance or flipping at a distance, we're actually talking a lot about feedback at a distance. And I have three things that I think really are important for providing feedback at a distance in a flipped learning environment. The first is to plan a lot of steps along the way. You may not even realize how much of that on the fly feedback you give to the students when you're face to face. You can just hear something, you walk by, something catches your eye, and you stop. Oh, that's really cool. Why don't you try and approach it this way? There's a lot of that on the fly feedback. From a distance, you lose that. So what you're going to need to do is bring that back in, unfortunately, in a more structured way. And the way that you can do that is providing a lot more stops along the way. If you're working on a project, don't treat it the same way that you would in a classroom. Really try and get that feedback stops and see where they are in these little tiny spots and give that feedback to the students. The next thing I'm going to say is encourage peer feedback. One of my favorite classrooms that I ever walk into is when I walk into a classroom and it's noisy. I love the noisy classroom, especially when it's noisy because they are working on a project. Organized chaos, I think, is amazing for students because it allows them to work with themselves. And ways that you can encourage this peer feedback is by utilizing discussion boards. So if hopefully you're using a learning management system of some sorts, uh, at the school I work at, we're going to be using Google Classroom and Seesaw. So if you're in Google Classroom, that front stream, that works as a great discussion board. That's that organized chaos place that you can use. So encourage students to use it. If you're on Seesaw, Seesaw allows by default all the work to be posted to the rest of the class. So encourage students to comment on other people's work. It's not any different than the turn-in talks that you'd have to do, and or turn-in talks that they would do even without you saying please turn and talk. Um, Maybe some small group meets or Zooms, but and self-directed peer collaboration. I love self-directed peer collaboration. I have a daughter who was in 7th grade last year, and I highly encouraged her to call up her friends and just have a friend on the phone while they're doing the work. And it was amazing to see. They spent hours actually working, and they just were on this video chat. They weren't even talking sometimes. It was just there, and it was that sounding board. So it was a great model for getting feedback. My younger child also did that too. Maybe not as much, but it's a great model and one that I think you should encourage officially. The last thing is be seen, be heard. When you're face to face, you have facial expressions, you have tones in your voice, and that's how students can connect with you on a subconscious level. And you lose that from a distance. And you need to be able to bring that in. So I really encourage you that when you're recording your initial content, make sure it's your own voice. Try and fit your video down on the bottom. A lot of the screencasting tools have the ability to do that. And also when you're doing the feedback. So not just the original recording, but the feedback. Record that also so they hear you, so they see you. Screencasting is an amazing tool for that. I'm not promoting synchronous learning. I don't think all the students in a Zoom gets these things at a distance. I think you can do these on asynchronous little videos and stuff like that, but it's still really important that they see you and that they hear you. So first of all, my name is BjornBehrendt, and I do have a website, edlisten.com. Please check it out. I will be posting many more resources there, especially throughout this next year. And I want to say thank you and never stop learning.